Dreaming about teaming up with a superhero? Heartbroken about the latest comic death? Do you find your conversations always turning to Marvel? Then welcome Marvelites to your therapy session. Join your hosts as we explore the realms of the Marvel Universe, taking you into new insights, movie reviews, and debates. Here, we won't try to cure any obsessions, but fuel them, because the world is better nerdy. Welcome to your Marvel Therapy Group.
And hello, listeners, and welcome to another episode of Marvel Therapy Group. I'm your solo host for today, Jack Martin. That's right, this episode got hijacked by me, and I'm running the podcast myself today. Oof. And I got some pretty cool guests who agreed to join me. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yes, I am Pat.
I am Justin.
It's funny because I'm Justin and he's Pat. We did a little switch around. You know, we're playing by our own rules.
That was just right at the cuff.
We're playing by our own rules today.
Yep.
Classic comedic beat right there, guys.
Played it fast and loose.
And Pat, I think you're a special guest because you're our first guest who's actually Skyping in from another state. All our other guests have been from Connecticut so far.
Wow, I'm glad to bring some geographical diversity.
Yeah. We're now representing a total of 2 states in America right now.
And they're both New England states, so you know it's a whole lot of diversity there.
It's a slow expansion, Justin.
Of New England.
It's all connected.
It's a slow expansion, Justin. You know, you go state by state, and eventually, you conquer the whole world. That's how it works.
We truly are a cinematic universe of 2 states.
All right, so we should probably start talking about Marvel on a Marvel show.
What?
So today we're going to be doing our monthly roundup. So we're going to be talking about all the news that came out in February. So I got a couple talking points. We're just going to get our opinions on it, get them out there, see what we have to say.
Great. I have some of those.
I have a lot of anger stored up within me, so this is gonna be exciting.
All right, so I think we should start with the big news, which was Marvel got a little Oscar gold, finally.
Yeah, triple gold.
Yeah, so we got the Black Panther won at the Academy Awards for Best Costume Design, Best Original Score, and Best Production Design.
Now, as we all know, the Oscars are extremely important. Like, as a ceremony, as we've seen in the build-up for this latest ceremony, every decision is important. Every decision matters, so this is a good thing. That being said, in all seriousness, I do feel what were the it was production, costuming, and music, right?
Best original score.
Yeah, I actually thought those 3 were fairly deserved. I thought the score was really fun, really dynamic. And I just thought, as far as a world was realized, that the costuming and the way things were set up was pretty tight. It goes to reason that any movie that sort of has one of those 800-page like books that the director just sort of writes and is like, here is stylistically how you should do things. It always sort of stands that there's probably something good there.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the most remarkable thing about Black Panther, at least in the context of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is the way that really expands the scope of what fans are seeing on screen. It's an entirely new playing field that Ryan Coogler basically did make from scratch, obviously pulled from the comics, but he was able to really cultivate his own wing of the expanding MCU.
Yeah, well, it's definitely amazing that all the later movies, like in Avengers: Infinity War, when they went to Wakanda, you could just see designs. You'd be like, oh, that's a Wakandan design right there. Like Bucky's new arm, you're like, that's very built-in Wakanda.
Mm.
And Infinity War, I could be wrong on this, but from the way it was shot, that wasn't even informed by... Infinity War wasn't even shot at the time in a post-Black Panther is the greatest thing ever world, so it was just kind of like it was as it stood before Black Panther came out and everyone really resonated and responded well to how that world was conceived and whatever. So in Endgame, we probably should see characters more in line with the way they were in Black Panther, or see I think it goes without saying that we'll see a lot more of Wakanda in Avengers Endgame, obviously.
Well, I don't know, because those were filmed back to back.
Yes, they were, but I just don't know when. I know parts of Infinity War were sort of shot. I know that the Wakanda shoot in Infinity War is like a big part of that shoot, obviously. I remember reading something about about them saying that they didn't really see how people respond, like how Black Panther was universally beloved until like that stuff in Infinity War was already taken care of, like shooting wise. Like then Black Panther came out and people responded really well to it, which is why like I think that was in regards to spoilers are good, right, for like Infinity War? Like I could just sort of say.
I mean, I feel like all our listeners have seen Infinity War by now, so yeah, go ahead.
What are you doing?
Black Panther dies in Infinity War. Yeah, like so like when that happened for like test screenings or whatever, like people had seen Black Panther by then, but it hadn't, like that decision was made before Black Panther came out, so people like responded like really, because people really like that character and people like that world, so yeah, it's just sort of cool to see how this is all unfolded, and yeah, I will anticipate that among a few other things in Avengers Endgame.
Yeah. So yeah, 3 well-deserved awards, especially for costuming. It was nice it got nominated for Best Picture. It was never winning Best Picture.
Yeah.
It was more of an honorary, like, we still don't think superhero movies are apt to win Best Picture, but we acknowledge that it was a very good movie.
I kind of wish it got nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay. I feel like it deserved that one, especially after Logan got that nomination last year.
I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to it, and I do think.
No, I'm saying winning. I'm just saying it should have been nominated.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought these were 3 very good awards. I thought music was a nice one. I wasn't sure on that. Oscars are sort of weird when it comes to music, especially because they always like give it to like the most like classically minded. Like I would have thought like one of the like more Oscar bait movies might have won music because it's sort of like traditionalist type stuff. I was really happy for Black Panther winning that because no, I just thought it was a really cool different score and it resonated with people. Very dynamic, especially a lot of the Killmonger stuff actually stuck with people too. Scripting would have been cool. Honestly, the big Marvel-related disappointment from the entire evening was I kind of thought Infinity War should have gotten it for effects.
Oh, 100. What did win for effects? Does anyone know?
First Man, which got gypped like as far as when it was released and like stuff. So I mean, give it the one, but I don't know. I was just kind of bummed. Like that was the one. I know I'm biased, obviously, but like Thanos looked really good, and that was such an effects-heavy movie.
I mean, I think 90% of those shots were effects.
Yeah.
Somewhere around that 90 percentile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It got nominated at least, so I mean that's something.
Yeah, but I mean that's sort of like that's the Oscars sort of treat that as like their pleb tier, like that it always like
we're hip. We watch these movies.
Yes, we do watch these movies, and they look nice.
Well, just last thing on Black Panther, I feel any other year Kendrick Lamar would have won for Best Original Song. I get why they gave it to Lady Gaga.
No, yeah.
I feel like any other year that would have been Kendrick's.
I feel we should be glad out of the entire evening poor Chadwick Boseman wasn't asked to do the Wakanda Forever salute on camera.
He's getting a little sick of it.
He seems tired of it. The man just seems so like ravaged by having to do that time and again. Meanwhile, Michael B. Jordan's just loving it. Just ask him to do it. Well, Michael B. Jordan's abs should have accepted the award, every award that movie won.
Well, then also, speaking of awards, Into the Spider-Verse, well-deserved win.
Oh, thank God.
For Best Animated Movie. That one was a lock-in for like a while, though. Like, I don't think anyone was surprised about that one. I was really stressed, honestly. I wasn't sure, because like, Disney, because like it's... Like, okay, to put my tinfoil hat on for a moment, like, you got the awards are run by ABC, which is owned by Disney, like, their movie has won, like, Best Animated for, like, the past 20 years or whatever, and, like, look, my feelings on Incredibles 2 aside, I'm like, oh, if it could happen, I could have seen it happening, I would have been really upset, but no, I'm glad the constant bombing of Spider-Man related gifs on
various Pixar posts on Twitter. Have you guys seen that?
No.
For like the past 50 posts Pixar has made, people have just commented, just spamming them with various Spider-Verse related gifs. Specifically, the one where he's got the spider sense going off. It's just that for just ages.
That's amazing.
I have contributed.
I thought Spider-Verse would win. The only movie I was a little concerned about was Isle of Dogs. Maybe like get it sneaking in. There was one other movie that was kind of artsy that was nominated.
Which would have been fun.
There was another like Kubo and the Two Strings kind of movie that was nominated.
There was an Eastern animation movie that was nominated. I don't remember what it was. That was never going to win because, you know, who are we kidding? Like those movies always get overlooked. But I would have been fine. Yeah, what am I talking about? I love Wes Anderson, so I would have been cool with Isle of Dogs winning. But Spider-Verse just had such an impact that I've like as far as like yeah. What were you gonna say, Pat?
It did.
Oh, good. No, as far as cultural impact was concerned, like I feel like the Black Panther Best Picture nom and Spider-Verse winning. I saw people complaining about Twitter that Spider-Verse should have gotten a Best Picture nom too. I don't know about that, but like it's not unheard of. Like Toy Story 3, I think got a Best Picture nod back in the day.
Beauty and the Beast did.
Oh. For some reason, I thought you were talking about the live action one. I was like,
No.
I hope not. No.
That was a weird year.
Very well deserved. That was like 2 years ago. It was like 2016.
Well, I feel like definitely well deserved. Even if like Best Animated Movie was just like they just didn't even judge a movie based on story. It was just strictly based on animation. Like Spider-Verse still should have won for that.
The style is so. It's pulled so strongly from the comics, and it's so visual, and like I just think it really adapted like the feel of reading a comic book onto the screen so well, in a way that other animated movies haven't done with like comic book source material, in a way that you can never really do in live action. So I feel like in some ways this is a perfect formula.
It's really opened to whole new grounds. Like as far like regardless of like its impact in the moment, like people are already like, oh, we should get I've heard people say that we should get like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie in the Spider-Verse style. Like that is a genre in itself. Like what kind of characters can be lent to like Spider-Verse style? I said to Jack just the other night, they should. Why aren't they just doing a Hellboy movie? The Hellboy movie, like in the Spider-Verse style, because that's the style of those comics is so distinctive. And if they did it that way, it'd be much better than what we're looking to get. Anyway.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yes, it is. I just wanted to make Jack angry.
I'm gonna ignore that for the sake of time and move on to our next topic, which is we got what's probably the final trailer for the Dark Phoenix movie.
Oh yes.
That came out.
Okay, can I just like take a second and say, as someone who loves X-Men more than any other team or sub-franchise within Marvel, it is high time for them to just move over to Marvel, which they're already in progress of doing. And if this movie didn't get released, I wouldn't be disappointed. But we're getting it anyway, and it's gonna go off. It's gonna end the Fox version of X-Men on such a low and like unsavory note.
Well, is it coming out before New Mutants, or is it?
New Mutants isn't happening.
That's probably shelved indefinitely. Maybe it goes on the streaming service when Disney launches that. I don't know. It's been pushed back so many times, and
the reshoots have not been shoot. But I'm going to stop you right there, Pat, because I know for a fact that you enjoyed X-Men Apocalypse. So this is the world. This is the world you have created for us. Dark Phoenix is yours. So good job.
That X-Men Apocalypse was not a perfect film. I don't think the story was the most original. I do think it had some of the best fan service moments that I've seen of an X-Men movie in recent years.
Oh no!
No. Listen to me. When Jean Grey's doing her thing and like the fire and like she's going to Phoenix form and all that, I just thought that was a really great moment in an X-Men movie. I don't think the villain was inspired at all. I think they completely wasted Oscar Isaac in that role. Mm-hmm. But I think it had some really great moments where I was like, yes, these are the X-Men. And,
they had some great moves. They had some great moments where the titular characters were on screen, and I could say that they were on screen. I could say that the X-Men were in an X-Men movie.
Okay.
Well done.
In one attempt to be positive about this trailer, I will say in Apocalypse, I did like the new guy who played Cyclops and the new guy who played Nightcrawler. I thought the new cast was good.
Cast was exceptional. It's a shame they were cast before we could bring X-Men over to Marvel. Because now we have to let them all go.
But I mean, just to be positive on the trailer, the cast looks the most like X-Men-y they've ever looked. I'm blanking on his name. McAvoy looks the most Professor X he's ever looked in an X-Men movie. James McAvoy.
He's the biggest star on the planet. What are you doing? He's certainly rocking that sweater, but I don't know. Look, I'm kind of against this. Like, I love the X-Men too. I've loved the X-Men for years. I love that they're doing their thing. I also have very strong preferences on what kinds of X-Men stories I enjoy. And the minute you start getting into this is borderline heresy, I know, but the minute you start getting into apocalypse territory, which is like a big spooky monster man coming to wreck your shit, I just lose interest because the power. And this is just me. The power of the X-Men storyline is in the metaphor of it, like in the oppressed groupness of it all, and what you can surmise from there. So when people are constantly complaining that why is Magneto always a villain in these movies? Oh, okay. I do agree that they should not be having him go back and forth between hero and villain so much. But having him be there is kind of the point. Like, having those contrasting ideologies is kind of the point.
But they don't have, that third voice, like the rest of society that's not mutant. Which
is why X-Men 2 is so good, because they take Stryker, who, even if they didn't adapt into the army colonel or whatever, and if they used the stuff from the comics where he was like a religious heretic or whatever, that still brings in the ideology of it. But then you get to Apocalypse, they did still kind of try to do a Darwinism survival of the fittest thing, which could have worked even if he looks and sounds so terrible in that film. But now you start getting into, I really don't like the Dark Phoenix storyline. I really don't think that character is very interesting, because that's where the X-Men stop being interesting, where you start going into space and aliens. And it looks like Jessica Chastain might be trying to do a Shi'ar type thing. I don't really love that, because that's Fantastic Four stuff, and not just that's their wheelhouse, that's the kind of characters they associate with, but what does that mean for the X-Men? What does it mean for the whole oppressed group thing to start having to meet aliens or whatever?
We're just jumping the shark at this point. I know it's pulled directly from the comics, but still, I think the only way to differentiate X-Men from other comic book properties is to go with that angle of an oppressed group.
Yeah.
And what that means to them. Because that's what they are at their core. They were designed to be a marginalized community.
Yeah. Where
other people with powers are praised, but because they're mutants, they're not.
Yeah, and this is why extremely unpopular opinion. I actually preferred how Jean Grey was depicted in X-Men 3, the movie, which is fine. It's a fine little movie. Don't worry about it. But no, I like the idea that it's not an evil space monster come to possess her or whatever. But it's her. It's how she was originally, and she was sort of robbed of the choice to sort of learn how to live among people, or sort of live above them. That's the metaphor again. It's her in the middle of Professor X, who decides, okay, not only is she powerful, she is too powerful for me to leave her the choice of what to do with her power, so I'm going to have to erase her memory. It sounds like they're doing it again, because, why not?
Why not?
But then you've got Magneto, who's do what you want, man. I'm happy we're going to be seeing Genosha. Little side note, even if I really like Genosha, I really like Magneto just kind of leading people. Maybe that's just the whole thing. I'm just really bitter that I'm never going to get to see my favorite Magneto, who is the lovable dick of the X-Men gang, who they keep around even though everyone hates him. and like whenever one of the X-Men makes a bad decision or whatever, like it's usually Cyclops in the comics, like he does something stupid and Magneto's like, that's what I would have done, when I was evil. It just sounds like we're never gonna get that. I don't know. Bless McAvoy, bless Fassbender, and bless the facts that they're getting work. But this whole thing just kind of depresses me.
So it looks like we're kind of all in opinion, like, okay, end the franchise and then let's bring it over to Marvel. So I don't want to get too far into this today. This could be another episode, but just quickly, since we're all just waiting for Marvel to reboot this franchise, what would be your pitch for how you put the X-Men in the MCU?
Okay.
You go.
First?
Yeah.
Yes, you go.
Yeah, you go first.
You go.
Okay. I'm not sold on it, but my favorite idea that I've seen around is that somehow they've all migrated to Atlantis because the Submariner is also a mutant. And maybe Xavier does like a whole big mind wipe with a world to erase the memory of mutants existing. If there was some like rise against them and they wanted to like eliminate them from the earth, so they all go underground. And then I feel like the best way to resurface them is in a Black Panther sequel, and then you can introduce the Storm relationship angle with T'Challa and start that romance. It could be more like a love triangle, and really just kind of go from there. I'm not really sold on it. I think it's a little shoehorned in. It's a major tentpole in the Marvel universe, so I don't think there's any real easy way to do it. I don't like alternate universe like that angle. I don't think that would be as effective. I think that would just needlessly complicate things. So I don't know what the best answer is, but I feel like they should be there all along, and it shouldn't be a thing where they're now starting to exist, because then characters will be at a different place than they would be otherwise.
The idea I like, I don't have strong opinions on how to do it, but the two ideas I've liked is I like the idea that mutants are kind of like extremely rare. There haven't been that many. And Professor X has just been able, because there have been so few, Professor X has been able to kind of like keep them under the radar from people. Another idea I heard is that I like the idea that because if Magneto's a Holocaust survivor again, he would be really, really old. I like this. I heard this idea from somebody that they make Magneto like a survivor of like a more recent genocide, like one from Africa or South America or something like that. And then he's sort of a younger character, but he still sort of has that mindset of he's seen humanity at its worst. And so that's what kind of drives him to believe that humanity it doesn't deserve to be the dominant species.
Okay. Logistically, having him be there all along kind of stresses me out, because that's sort of a big unruly thing that you sort of have to compensate for. I guess, and I don't love this, but I guess I'm going to have to throw my hat in the ring for when the effects of Thanos' snap ultimately become reversed, when people come back, like sort of on a random basis. Some people now have mutant powers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, was that somehow like mutants become more common after the snap.
I think not only is that the way the cleanest way I can think of to do it, I think that's the way they could end up going with, rather, because even with like Captain Marvel, I've already seen some people who are like, so Iron Man was a thing. Iron Man came out and said, I am Iron Man, and that sort of like changed the world in that respect. But like Captain Marvel was then doing her thing, and then space aliens were doing their thing like 10 years prior. It's sort of like the Star Wars effect, where like Rogue One happened and people were like, what does this have anything to do with, I think average Joe audience member would just prefer, mutants to just sort of like gradually show up. I do think there will be some sort of time skip associated with Endgame to make it a little easier to swallow. But I think Thanos' snap can and probably should be directly tied to what happens with mutants. But as far as a pitch for what the X-Men should be like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, rather, I think they should just adapt the cartoon series X-Men Evolution to the big screen. X-Men Evolution, which was everyone's like sort of a young hip teenager, and they go to school and they get into Dawson's Creek-esque shenanigans, and then they fight villains. It's the best X-Men show, and they should absolutely do it that way. I'm a big fan of it. Everyone should go watch X-Men Evolution.
I do think they should be on the younger side.
Yeah.
They should be students.
Yeah. I think, in all seriousness, I think we've gotten to the point where like young Cyclops should be your surrogate, and Wolverine should sort of be like he's the fun badass off to the side who occasionally gets a solo adventure that you see play out, like, because he's the one you have then go off with, like, I mean, maybe not Cap or whoever, but like one of the more seasoned heroes to go do a thing or whatever. But yeah, you gotta follow like your Cyclops. Have Jubilee, please.
Please, Aquafina's Jubilee, make it happen.
What'd you think of her at the Oscars, by the way, Pat, with John Mulaney?
She's precious and needs to be protected at all costs.
Those are your two hosts right there for next year. I mean, I loved No Host, but the two of them were great. They should absolutely
Her and John Mulaney together.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, not really news, but just when this episode is airing on Monday, we're going to be a couple days away from Captain Marvel coming out. So I was just going to ask you guys quickly, you excited for this movie? What are you hoping to see from this movie? Just sort of what are your feelings?
Yes.
I think the marketing campaign for this has been a little dicey. It's hard for people because people have so much goodwill for this movie. Because like on the same tier as like I think like your Black Panthers or your Doctor Stranges, people are really passionate about this character and people really want to see them done well. And I like seeing good movies, and I like seeing good movies in this universe. So I really want to believe these people, but then you sort of see a trailer that's just kind of like, it's hard to not make like Green Lantern comparisons when that's what it looked like. I'm sorry, that's what it looked like for a while. And I love I love Brie Larson. I had a childhood crush on Brie Larson growing up. I bought all her hit pop singles. Go check them out. They're pretty cool. But honestly, what has got me most hyped for this movie has probably been like the pre-screening buzz, especially saying that my boy Ben Mendelsohn is going to be one of the better Marvel villains. As if that was a shock to anyone. I'm super thrilled to see him. It sounds like it's going to be really good. I'm sure it's just the trailers were a little odd. I mean, come on, like
I can agree with you on that. Yes, I don't think they've quite hit the mark yet, but from what I've heard of like screenings and critic screenings, the reviews have been positive.
Yeah,
very positive.
It's just that they went with the weird way to market this one. Like the same way they marketed... I don't know if you remember how Ant-Man was at the start, but that first trailer, like they played it like very serious. Like they played it like it was all like epic music and like, I need you to become the Ant-Man. But the trailer people remember the most for Ant-Man is the one where Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas stand and they slap their knees and they say ants over and over again, intercut with pictures of ants, because that's what the movie's like. Look, I know it'd be a little on the nose to have a Captain Marvel trailer that's sort of like, like Guardians adjacent. Maybe you have like Highway to the Danger Zone playing in the background while they're all doing their thing. But I do think that's kind of what you need. Like they're saying this is going to be like Lethal Weapon. Well, then market it like Lethal Weapon. Like market it like a fun 90s movie. Have you I don't know. Have either of you guys seen the website?
Yes. I looked at it like a couple weeks ago, and then I refreshed my memory today, in preparation for this conversation.
There is Jack. You should check it out. I don't remember exactly. I don't remember if it's the main website or not. But Captain Marvel has a website set up currently that is stylized like a '90s web page. Like have you seen?
That's good.
Like like the Space Jam website. How that's still up. What that looks like. It looks just like that. It's pretty.
The best part of their marketing campaign.
Yeah, it's pretty fun because that's like a little mindfulness to it. I don't know. I am very excited for it. I just I sort of hoped after, like, everyone loved, like, the Thor Ragnarok trailers especially, I sort of hoped they'd be a little more like, okay, the trailer is like the movie, that's what we should do, and then people will see it. It's fine, but, no, I am excited for it.
And Pat, anything else you want to add what you're excited for about this movie?
No.
Okay.
Well said.
Well, all right. Now we have to move on to the news topic that I didn't really want to talk about because I know how excited you are about this.
Justin, contain your excitement.
So we all knew it was probably going to happen, but it got confirmed in February that Punisher and our girl Jessica Jones got canceled.
Hey!
Marvel Netflix is officially dead.
Hey!
For those of you who can't pick that up from the audio, Justin is laughing maniacally right now that Jessica Jones got canceled.
Oh my god, all your fans are gonna hate me. Okay.
You'll see her again.
No, God, Okay. Look. I know you viewers out there are probably not very fond of me for this bold, not brave stance. But look, I have liked the Netflix. I've watched all the Netflix shows. I've watched them all. I've supported all of them with my eyes. But
to be fair, you've watched more Marvel Netflix than I have.
yes,
so.
yeah, you're not a true fan. Punisher got canceled because of you. I was still watching Punisher when the news came out, and I finished because you know, okay, Punisher's actually fine, but no, in all seriousness, Jessica Jones in particular wasn't really my thing. I really suffered under the padding of a lot of those shows. And Jessica Jones did have very good things about it. I really liked Kilgrave. I think Kristen Ritter is a great performer with a character that wasn't allowed very much room to breathe. And other things I'm sure happened in that show that were good. But no, I just like with how these shows were and what they're looking for, like even the streaming service shows to be like the Loki show, like you've talked about that it's like that it's going to be like Loki like meddling with like Earth events throughout history. Yeah. Like that sounds hilarious. I would watch like 20 seasons of that. But and I don't know. I would have liked it for closure's sake if we could have went out on the high note of Daredevil season 3, which I liked, and I liked Daredevil season 1 and parts of Daredevil season 2. I'm not a monster, but I just like laughter aside, joking aside. This is for the best, right? I mean, come on, you guys.
Yes, at this point, I would have to agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, how much longer was it all going to go on? Like, they were saying Punisher Season 3, like the showrunner, bless his heart, he has so much enthusiasm, but he was like, oh, we're gonna do Kingpin and Bullseye. 2 characters that we've seen already, that we spent 13 hours with longer in terms, and I love Kingpin. Vincent D'Onofrio is a godsend. Kingpin was great. I couldn't take another season of him doing his thing, except for the memes that came out with his thing for Daredevil season 3. Those were pretty solid. But no, I'm not happy. Well, I am kind of happy, but I'm content. I'm content until I have to watch Jessica Jones season 3. Then I'll be very sad.
That was the one thing I was going to say. You didn't get a complete victory. Jessica Jones is getting a season 3.
I was so hoping.
It's still coming out.
I was so hoping, and I said to you that I just wondered if they were just going to nix it. Even though it was like shot and is presumably sitting on a hard drive somewhere finished, I was wondering if it's just like, yeah. Why wouldn't we? Don't worry about it.
Pat, any final thoughts on Jessica Jones and Punisher getting axed?
It was a matter of time. I mean, when the first 3 dominoes fell, it was only a matter before the next 2.
Once Daredevil fell, it was all over.
There's a chance you'll see them in some other form in the future. I believe the contract that Marvel had with Netflix stated that there would have to be at least 2 years from their last appearance on Netflix before they could appear somewhere else. So you can see them on Hulu. Disney has, I think, a ruling majority share of Hulu. You can see them on, the new Disney streaming service, or in some far-off universe, you can see them on a big screen. I think that's the least likely of the three options. But I mean, even less so for Jessica Jones, who I don't think is high enough profile to be on the big screen. But maybe now she is. Who knows?
She isn't.
She's street level.
All right.
Characters have been made very street level, within New York City. They don't have like the global presence that Iron Man now has. Where they're like moving around the globe, fighting off really big threats.
I think
I don't think they'll be on the screen. I think you'll probably see them on a streaming service in the future.
I don't know. I honestly, at this point, if they could work out something, I would rather have Charlie Cox voice Daredevil in a Spider-Verse sequel or something. I would much rather see that than have to middle through another season of Marvel Netflix tier that's fair, right? Imagine getting him and Bernthal as Punisher in a Spider-Verse sequel to sort of play obviously not that Punisher who shanks men in prison and rolls around with them bleeding, but no, just maybe a 90s, a weird 90s Punisher who's shooting lasers all the time and stuff like that. I'm very sad that Charlie Cox is very sad about all this.
Probably he's heartbroken.
I feel bad for him. Maybe now he can finally do another Stardust movie or whatever.
I would be down for that. All right, so speaking of streaming services, Hulu actually came up with some big news regarding their future with Marvel. Yeah, it was announced that Marvel and Hulu are teaming up to produce 4 new animated shows about the characters MODOK, Hitmonkey, I had to Wikipedia this, who's a wrong Japanese shadow monkey who was mentored by a ghost of an American assassin and uses his skills to get revenge on Tokyo's underworld. Tigra and Dazzler, which is described as a woke superhero show about 2 heroes trying to make it in LA. And Howard the Duck.
I'm a fan of most of that, although I do think they could have... I just think in general, obviously Marvel has been lacking on the big screen with a female presence. It took until 2019, after 11 years of Marvel movies, for them to have a solo heroine movie. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that Dazzler or Tigra are A-listers, but there aren't many A-lister female superheroes because the comic system not supported that. And I don't know. I think they would have been better used elsewhere.
I think I agree. I think Dazzler and Tigra are not the choices you would want to go with to do that. I do think we're going to see some kind of A-Force thing post Endgame, which is the all-female Avengers. I do think they're going to be rolling with that. My only disappointment with Dazzler and Tigra, this is animated, right? This is definitely animated. I would have loved to see Dazzler and Tigra be imagine a New Girl style thing or whatever, but it's superhero, where they're just sort, because I remember reading comics as a kid with Tigra in them, and that character is just hilarious. Just constant, she's this feral-looking tiger woman who's just sort of sitting around eating frozen yogurt in yoga pants or whatever. That's the character. Get a real cutesy NBC sitcom, but with superheroes. I think that'd be fun. Patton Oswalt is MODOK, right?
Is he?
I think so.
Okay, that's good.
I'm a little bummed because the Russos have been saying for years that they wanted to do him on the big screen. This is probably best. I can't imagine a good way to do MODOK on the big screen, and Russos are doing hard, serious superhero fare, and then throwing MODOK in there. This is fine, and I think Kevin Smith is doing Howard the Duck, which is certainly a thing. No, this is fun.
Any thoughts, Patrick?
I'm sure they'll be fine.
Okay.
I'm really sad that we're not getting Donald Glover Deadpool, like sort of
No.
in the same vein as this.
Yeah.
Like that test footage was so good.
I'm still angry about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got Marvel Hulu. They're apparently going to accumulate in a team-up show called The Offenders, which kind of seems like giving the middle finger to Netflix, but whatever.
Good.
So the last little piece of news I wanted to touch upon in this episode was we didn't get a lot, but we got some Legion Season 3 news.
Hey! Good
Final
stuff.
season.
Yeah, final season. That was the first thing they announced. Which, I mean, I was a little bummed about, but I guess Noah Hawley's like, yeah, this was a 3-season show. This was my plan.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
I'm glad they're letting him do what he wants to do. It will air sometime this year, so that's exciting. They're not doing the 2-year break, which is becoming more and more common. And Harry Lloyd, aka Varys Targaryen, who, for Game of Thrones spoiler here, he was the guy who Khal Drogo famously dumped a bowl of gold over his head.
Silver.
I thought it was gold, because it was like throne or crown fit for king.
Was it gold?
I think it was gold. Yeah.
Yeah, right, it was gold. Straight.
He did something. He poured some sort of
Hot metal.
some metal, yeah. But he will be playing Professor X on the show.
Ah, I didn't hear that actually.
Yeah, interesting casting. I mean, I guess it officially says that this is not in the X-Men universe of the big screen, which, whatever at this point.
Whatever that means.
I really like Harry Lloyd. I obviously he was a fun, weird lunatic in Game of Thrones, and I can't help but remember him from I can't believe it's coming out of my mouth, but the one Doctor Who episode he did. Remember
Oh,
he
there's
was
the Family of Blood, right?
Yeah, he was that guy. He had
Oh.
this sort of weird, dead-eyed expression as he was like an alien monster or whatever. He was great. I really liked him in that. Seeing Professor X in the show, I know Patrick Stewart said he would have been up to it, and maybe they just decided, you know what? Why don't we just not? Regardless of what Professor X does, though, I'm really happy with the note we'll be picking back up. But that was a hell of a cliffhanger at the end of last season, and I'm really excited. I mean, obviously you have expectations for the show, and they're almost never met. Like, I remember we all watched the premiere for season 2, and when it was done, we were all like, what? Because that was the dance-off episode.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm really happy with the note where we'll be picking up on. I'm really happy that this is the final season. Like, you know, you got a nice trilogy of television. You either do TV shows like this in 3-season arcs or 5-season arcs. Going any longer than that would just make you sad. But yeah, Professor X is going to be in it. This is going to be cool. Isn't his mother, whose name escapes me, David's mother, Charles's wife, I think she's also going to be in it too, right? So that could be like flashback stuff, because Harry Lloyd is obviously on the younger side. Then again, McAvoy has been playing like an 80-year-old Professor X now for the past 2 movies. So who's to say?
Just as long as we have more Audrey Plaza in this season, I'm very happy.
Oh my god.
Yes, please.
Have you listened to this? Is gonna be weird. Have you listened to the song "I'm in Love with Audrey Plaza"? By the way,
No, but it sounds amazing.
it is an indie song that a guy released on like his Kickstarter or whatever, saying that he was in love with her. It was like a romantic ballad to her, and I think she sent him a video response saying that she was gonna kill him. It's pretty solid.
What an actress.
What a babe, honestly.
All right, so that is all the news we got in February. I want to thank you guys so much for being on the episode today. Anything final you want to add?
Looking forward to all the new stuff coming out. And at this point, I just hope that Jessica Jones comes back despite Justin's.
Oh, no, you don't want that. Look, we have so much to look forward to in season 3, where presumably Hellcat will show up and be as morally dubious as she was in season 2. Other side characters will do things, and Jessica Jones will learn nothing from it. And then Kilgrave will show up and we'll be like, maybe this is a good show after all. And then he'll disappear and we'll be like, oh, no it isn't.
All right, well, that was Marvel Therapy Group. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you hear, you hate what you hear, you're neutral about what you hear, rate us on iTunes, drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And thanks again, as always, for tuning in.
I eagerly look forward to the hate mail.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's Marvel Therapy Group, where together we can work through our comic thoughts and learn to live beside them. Views expressed are of the host only and do not reflect Marvel Studios or comics in any way. Hosts are in no way qualified to provide therapy. This is simply the name of the podcast. This has been another Marvel Therapy Group session.